Hello, movie friends. Welcome back to the show. This is Anthony.
And this is James. This is Movie News 21.
Wow, that's a lot.
I figure we have to start off with some of the most tragic news we've heard in years with Halyna Hutchins, a cinematographer who was accidentally killed on the set of the film Rust. Alec Baldwin discharged a prop gun that caused the death of the cinematographer and also seriously injured director Joel Souza. Production has been halted for an indeterminate period of time, and this is shocking news. It's unbelievable how something like this could happen on a set. This was her first, I want to say, like major film she was working on in terms of like a pretty solid budget. She's got a star like Alec Baldwin in it, so it's horrible. It's devastating news. She was a mother, she was a wife, and many friends, and she's had a budding career, I'm sure. So it's really, really tragic.
Yeah, and it's a tragedy, and a lot of people don't totally understand that prop guns, they still hold some risk and some danger when being used on a set, even though there isn't an actual bullet in the cartridge. There's gunpowder in there. Things can get, just like little bits of, any kind of material can get lodged in there. And also the gas that is expelled from the combustion of the gunpowder can cause a dangerous incident. And so they're not 100% safe in order to get that effect. So extreme caution needs to be taken on sets, and it seems as though something like this, maybe it wasn't 100% perfectly done by the prop by the prop team. There could be some negligence involved. There will be obviously an intense investigation. So unfortunately, it could be somebody's fault, but we'll find out.
Yeah, there's actually a bunch of reports coming out, but there isn't a ton yet. But so I read one where there's actually a bunch of issues with the crew. They actually even walked off the set a couple hours before the prop gun incident happened and the death occurred. And they had been for a couple of days and weeks now. The crew had been protesting their working conditions and safety conditions on the film.
Really?
And according to a crew member, I don't know if it's fully confirmed, there had been several misfires of the prop gun that were used the day before, and 2 misfires on the Saturday and 1 on the previous week during filming. So whoever was in charge of the prop department or the prop guns, I think I heard it was the AD who handed Alec Baldwin the gun, and the final person to hand him the gun. Obviously, it's not Alec Baldwin's fault. It's horrible that he caused somebody's death and almost killed the director as well, because the actors have nothing to do with the props. They just get handed the props. They're not in charge of the props. That's an entire department, people's jobs. That's what they do. So the actors are not responsible for situations like this at all.
And I think a lot of people I saw online were confused about why would he be pointing a gun at the director and cinematographer. And think about like shootouts you see in movies. Oftentimes there are so many shots of the actor pointing a gun towards the camera, not like even at it, in just like in the general direction,
right
of
off
the camera.
Yeah,
happens. And probably most shootouts, they have more than anything shots of the actors pointing in the direction of the camera.
And behind every camera, there's a dozen people.
Exactly. Maybe even more sometimes with bigger crews. There can be hundreds of people, but this crew was a little bit smaller, so it looked like there were maybe 24 people on the set and crew. And also, like, the crew will be spread out behind the camera in different areas. They're not all just, like, in a tent 20 miles away. They're all in the general area, so it's not ridiculous to think that, he could injure somebody who's on the set. So that's why the director and the DP, who are vital crew members, were in the general vicinity of where he was aiming.
Yeah, and cinematographers don't always operate cameras. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Some even use camera operators. Like even Deakins, like I would say, we talked about before, half the films he's the cinematographer, but he has someone else doing the camera operating themselves. I don't know if Halyna was operating the camera. I'm sure she was, but again, it's like just a gunshot that we've seen a million times in films of it's like right off camera pointing there. So that's why he was pointing in the direction of the director and cinematographer. It's, again, horrible tragedy. I'm sure more information will be coming up, but it seems like the set was a mess and being horribly run in very unsafe conditions.
And ultimately, that falls upon, the prop team, but also if they were protesting about safety standards, then that comes up to the director and the producers of the film and eventually the production company involved in actually making the film. So there will be people who will face repercussions for sure.
I'd be surprised if this film even continues shooting at some point. It seems like it'll probably get shut down permanently, especially if there's negligence involved. Like I don't think they could ever come back from that financially, or even anyone want to come back to work on the film. All right, let's move on to box office. So Dune just came out. Obviously, we've been hyping this up for about 8 months now, and we saw it. you guys know. And it had an excellent Thursday night, 5 million Thursday night preview, which is fantastic.
That was better than Halloween.
That's only like 2 or 3 screenings max per cinema at nighttime only. Then Friday was a 17.5 million opening day, which is the highest Warner Brothers HBO Max same day release because they did it in theaters and on HBO Max same day release. That's the highest so far. And it's already over 130 international besides that. So I'm very happy about so far the direction of the box office for Dune and the reception.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised. I thought it was going to pull in 30 million. That was my guess.
Yeah.
And even, we know a couple people who work at Warner Brothers, especially in the marketing department, and they were worried. They were concerned. Like, Warner Brothers wasn't sure. Are we getting enough are we spreading the word about this movie enough? Do people even know what this movie is? And they were very unsure about how this would perform, but this is a gigantic success because you can estimate that it will end up pulling in at least 40 million from this Friday because you can double the
weekend.
You can double the Friday by 2. You just double the Friday and you'll get the estimate. So it will be between, I would say, 40 to 45 million for its opening weekend, which is really amazing. Guarantees for sure they're going to make a sequel that will also be in theaters. And I think this is also really great news because this is a great property. There's no superheroes involved.
It's not a brand, really.
It's not Marvel.
Star Wars.
Yeah, it's not Marvel. It's not DC. It's not Star Wars. It's not Disney. I think that, we saw this, and if you saw our review, you saw how much we love this film, and I think it's a really, really good sign that this film made so much money.
And also, all the people who've been sending us DMs and messages that they saw it in IMAX, and they're so happy that we recommended it to them strongly to do that and had an amazing experience. We're so glad you did that, and we're so happy you enjoyed it as much as we did because IMAX is the freaking bee's knees, especially a movie like this.
Yeah, we're going to see it again this week.
I know we hype up IMAX a lot, but that's because it deserves to be. I mean, people... You watch it on your phone, watch it at home or whatever, but you can't top IMAX.
Mm-hmm.
The French Dispatch also had a very good Thursday night. It's only opened on 52 screens, made $555,000, which is pretty solid for just the minimal screens. We're actually going to go see it. We're filming this on Saturday, but we saw it Saturday afternoon, and we'll do like a little mini review about that soon.
And Wes Anderson movies make a lot of money. I think this is going to be a big success as well.
Per theater, yeah. So they're projecting almost like $2 million for the opening weekend, which is, again, a limited release. And per theater, that would be one of the highest of the year so far.
But with this kind of movie, they're going to roll out to more theaters next week and then even more the week after. So it's a slow rollout where, like you said, 52 screens, and then next week it will probably be like 300 to 400, and then maybe they might hit 1,000 screens by the week after.
Very exciting, awesome news for his new film. Also, last weekend, Halloween hit 50 million. They're at 67 million total worldwide. Bond hit 24 million, 456 total worldwide. Venom hit 19 million again. Venom's still killing, 288 million worldwide.
Wow.
In The Last Duel, unfortunately, 4 million last week, 10 million total. We saw it, and we have a review coming out this week. We thought it was excellent. It's one of the best movies we've seen all year, and it's. I wish people would go see it. It's a really important movie to watch, and it's totally relevant today for sure.
Yeah, and that's a big disappointment because the budget was $100 million, so it's going to be a big loss for that studio for Fox. So they're owned by Disney now, so they're kind of protected in terms of failures, but it was disappointing to see how poorly it performed.
Yeah, I hope people go see it.
I think it just came out at a wrong time. Like, there are a lot of big movies.
Hopefully that's it, and hopefully we're not seeing like the death of period pieces.
No, it's got to be because you got Halloween, Bond, Venom, and Dune. How do you compete with that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These are all releases that usually would have their own 2 weeks at each box office. You know what I mean? Like, one will they'll be sporadically spread out across the summer, but right now they're all coming out within the same month. So I think it was so overwhelming of a box office for it to compete with them. I think they should have released it for December.
Yeah, what the average person goes to see 5 to 8 movies a year.
Yeah. They should have gone for a Christmas release. I think it would have performed better.
Maybe they didn't want to compete with Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, that's true.
All right, let's get to some news. So Hayden Christensen is going to return as Anakin Skywalker in Ahsoka, the series. So I wonder if it's going to be while he's Anakin, or will it be as he's Darth Vader?
It has to be while he's Anakin, because then in the TV series he is Ahsoka is his Padawan, and he trains Ahsoka.
He's kind of old now, though. He still looks young, but he's like 20 years older than when he was Anakin, almost.
Yeah, it has been a long time. And I think they can CGI it and make him look
he still looks like a young guy. He's got good genes.
But either way, Hayden Christensen is like Thank you, Jesus.
I got Obi-Wan
you.
and this. Thanks, Star Wars. Thanks, Disney. Thank you, Disney, for buying Star Wars and just making a million shows out of it, because I have been out of work for a while for the most part.
And he's going to be getting paid. I mean, Anakin is one of the most loved characters in Star Wars. Like he's gigantic on TikTok.
He's beloved now. It's
Yeah.
too bad because he got such a bad rap for like a decade, but like the last 10 years I think has been very good to him and his character.
Yeah, so good for Hayden Christensen. I'm glad he's going to get Hayden Christensen. What did I say?
Caden.
Did I say Hayden? Yeah. Good for Hayden Christensen. I'm glad he's getting back into it, and hopefully he can, redeem himself a little bit. Obviously, Attack of the Clones was not a great performance, but I think Revenge of the Sith is a much better role, and I'm excited to see him back.
All right. Also, Ryan Gosling will be joining Margot Robbie's Ken in Barbie, the movie, which is going to be written and directed by Greta Gerwig.
You said that confusing.
Yeah, sorry. And he'll
He's
be
gonna
joining.
be playing Ken.
So he's Ken in the Barbie movie with Margot Robbie. It made sense if you listened.
It sounded like the movie was called Ken. Margot Robbie's Ken.
No, he'll be Margot Robbie's Ken. Yeah, her Ken.
Okay.
Yeah. Possessive, plural. And it's going to be directed by Greta Gerwig, and she's writing the script with her husband, Noah Baumbach. So I'm pretty excited to check this out. I think Greta's a great director, 2 phenomenal writers, so it's going to be awesome, I'm sure.
It's going to be black and white in Brooklyn.
Honestly, like, would you have cast any 2 other actors in these roles?
They're obvious choices.
As soon as I saw the news for Margot, obviously, but then Ryan came out the other day, I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, who else were you going to get? It's Ryan Gosling.
And I bet he's going to play it for laughs. I bet he's going to be very hysterical.
I'm curious the tone. I'm really curious what it's going to be like.
I know getting Greta and Noah, it's very interesting, and I think they want that paycheck too.
Well, I bet they have a cool idea.
That Mattel paycheck.
They must have a cool idea.
But they're both great writers.
That's what I
both of
mean.
them.
So
what a great couple for being writing for a writing team.
Yeah, that's
what
awesome.
I mean?
That's awesome.
There's a new trailer for Uncharted, Tom Holland's new film for the Uncharted video game adaptation. And it looks pretty good. It looks obviously, for fans of the game, it looks like it's pretty spot on. But for me, I wasn't really sold on it. I wasn't blown away by it entirely.
It seems like a rock action movie.
Yeah.
It seems like a Dwayne Johnson action movie. It kind of looks like Jumanji in a way.
And also, I would just say I love Tom Holland, but he still looks like he's 17. He seems like out of place in this world.
I think for me, him and Mark Wahlberg look like they are related, but they're not. Like he looks like he could be his son in this movie.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
but they're not related. So like I was like, is he his son or not? But I'm sure the fans of the game are gonna love it. Tom Holland fans are obviously gonna stand over it. I'll watch some more trailers. We'll check it out for sure. But, it looks like a good time. Yeah. It looks like a fun time at the movies.
Yeah, there's no superheroes.
Yeah, he seems like he's Spider-Man still, though.
Yeah, that ending stunt sequence when he's jumping through the air on the back of a plane. It's like, that's not physically possible.
Is he Peter Parker still? But, I mean...
that's tough even for Spider-Man to do.
Yeah, but like a Dwayne Johnson movie in Fast and Furious.
Yeah, it's one of those stunts where it's like, that's not
what I
possible.
mean. It's like it's a Dwayne Johnson action movie. That's what it feels like.
Because if you're jumping off of that, you have to be jumping like 600 miles per hour.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Mark's done some crazy stuff in movies, too. We've seen it a bunch of times, obviously Mission Impossible movies, but it seems pretty insane.
Yeah.
Anyways, no, actually, hold on. Before that, Emily Blunt got cast in Oppenheimer.
Oh, nice.
She'll be starring opposite Cillian Murphy. I believe she's playing his husband. I can't remember which character.
She's playing his husband?
I mean, his wife. Sorry. Which is great. I'd love to see Emily Blunt in the Chris Nolan universe. So I think she perfectly fits his films in aesthetic and storytelling. So I think she's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, two British icons right there
for
the leads.
It's going to be great.
And then Damien Chazelle's new film Babylon and Rat filming. And this is going to star Brad Pitt and a great cast about the silent film era and its transition into talkies.
Zac Efron and Russell Crowe are teaming up to embark on the greatest beer run ever, with Peter Farrelly directing. It's a adaptation of the book of the same name, so sign me up. I mean, I think Russell Crowe is hilarious. I think The Nice Guys is a very funny, underrated movie. And, I mean, why not team up with another big Hollywood name like Zac Efron, who's also funny like Ryan Gosling?
Zac Efron's strength is comedy. Yeah. You could see from the comedy he's done with Seth Rogen. And
yeah, I think that's one of his best movies, actually. Was it The Neighbors?
Yeah, yeah, Neighbors.
Yeah.
And Russell Crowe, like you said, he's super funny in interviews and stuff. Is this going to be like I wonder if they're father and son. That would make sense because the age difference is so big.
Who knows? Yeah, I haven't read the book yet. But.
Yeah, I would love to see.
I'm not gonna read it, but
I'm happy to see Russell Crowe get smashed.
There's a record-breaking Wonder Woman roller coaster announced at Six Flags. This thing is going to be 13 stories tall. and reach speeds of 58 miles per
That's
hour.
high.
It's going to be called Wonder Woman Flight of Courage. Will open at Six Flags Magic Mountain next summer.
Oh, that's near us.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Awesome. And then DC Fandom in 2021, it tripled last year's viewership numbers. And, obviously it was helped by the release of the Batman's trailer, the Flash's trailer, and Black Adam's trailer. And so clearly DC is building an audience again. And this is a good sign for people getting excited for their brand. And I think they're heading in a new direction that people like.
I'm still upset that they're abandoning Henry Cavill at the altar of Superman. But, the Batman looks amazing. The Flash looks really cool. So we're going to get some new heroes as well, like Supergirl. And then who else is in that movie that's new? Obviously, Batman's coming back, Michael Keaton. Imagine if Christian Bale shows up. Just kidding. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for all those films. Black Adam looks sick.
Yeah, I want to see Black Adam.
That teaser looks really cool.
I want to see him kill a bunch of people.
Like when he
awesome.
holds that guy's throat, he just electrocutes him until he turns to a skeleton.
Yeah, pretty wild.
Pretty amazing. It seems like Dwayne was perfect.
And I like how they didn't pull his hood down because I think people are curious. Is he going to have the hair or is he going to be bald? So
I think he's going to be bald.
Yeah, I think he'll be bald, but we'll see.
It's his brand.
But they're hiding it.
When was the last time you saw Dwayne with hair in a movie?
I don't know, maybe Walking Tall.
It's like it doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, Walking Tall maybe.
But that was still
the Tooth Fairy, I think was the last one.
But that was still his real hair, I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
that was like 2009,
even earlier. Yeah, that was a long time.
So this is brand. He's just a bald
I know,
guy.
but I'm just curious if they're gonna have because he has that like vicious V, Black Adam, and that's iconic. So.
I doubt it. I think it looks silly.
Yeah, I think he looks best without hair.
Yeah. There's a new trailer for a movie called Ambulance. This is directed by Michael Bay. It's an intense action thriller starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, which we saw a trailer for the other day at the theaters when we saw The Last Duel. And it looks pretty good. It's like just two buds executing one of the most ambitious heists in LA history. When I watched the trailer, it seems kind of generic. It's a Michael Bay action movie. People need to rob a bank. One wants it for money. The other person needs it for medical bills for their family. It's kind of like after I saw this trailer, maybe 10,000 scripts that people were writing in Los Angeles just went out the window because it's the same idea. But it's Michael Bay, Jake Gyllenhaal. Yahya is a huge actor right now. He's in a ton of stuff, so it's probably gonna be cool.
Yeah, it looks like. Michael Bay is great shooting action, so I'll definitely tune in to see this, and it must be a pretty good script for Jake Gyllenhaal to get involved in. It's always nice to see Jake doing hardcore action
and as a villain, like an antagonist character.
Yeah, anti-hero for sure.
But but like I said, about 10,000 scripts just went out the window in Los Angeles.
God damn it!
I wrote about bank robbers who needed money for medical bills. God damn it!
And then Hulu released a date in the first images for Chloe Grace Moretz's new project, Mother Android. This is directed by the Batman screenwriter Mattson Tomlin. Looks like a really cool sci-fi experience, and we'll be keeping an eye out for that. Chloe is definitely one of the most talented actors of her age.
And then the final bit of news, The Continental, which is going to be a prequel of the John Wick series, cast Mel Gibson, I think, is the lead actor in the film.
Lead actor?
One of the leads, which is...
yeah.
I was a little surprised when I heard that because I didn't realize... I know Mel has had a resurgence, but I didn't think he was, forgiven completely by Hollywood.
I wasn't expecting to see him in a mainstream project.
Yeah, like John Wick. Like he does his independent films. He's been in some stuff here and there, but I'm a little surprised by this. I don't know how I feel about it.
We'll see.
We'll see what it looks like.
I'm curious what the public opinion is.
He's a very divisive guy right now. I don't think a lot of people want to see him in the John Wick prequel series. I feel like they could have gotten someone else, no problem.
Oh yeah, they could have gotten pretty much anyone they wanted, I bet.
But
we'll see.
What's that? Who does that stand-up joke where how long it takes Hollywood to forgive somebody? It's 7 years.
I think it's Mulaney.
I think it's Mulaney. Because they're talking because obviously Mel Gibson's horrible racist rant that he went on, and it took 7 years for him to get back into Hollywood. So
yeah,
it's an odd choice. I don't know if I would have done it. But
even though it has been a long time, it was a very, very bad anti-Semitic rant. So we'll see.
All right, that wraps our movie news for this week. Stay tuned. We have some excellent stuff coming out for this week. We have costumes for episodes. We dressed up for 2 of these episodes on Monday and Thursday. They're going to be excellent episodes. Monday is going to be a ton of fun tomorrow. We had a blast doing it. Mm-hmm. We dressed up for it. I'll give you a hint. It's a director spotlight, but we won't tell you who it's on.
It's a spooky director spotlight.
Yeah, spooky. All right. Anyways, have a great rest of your Sunday, everybody, and talk to you later.
Bye.
Thanks so much for tuning in to Raiders of the Lost podcast. Be sure to subscribe if you're new. Hit the like button, leave a comment. Find us on all audio streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts, you can find us. Find us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Raiders of the Lost podcast. Be sure to check out one of these other videos right here for more content on our favorite films and breaking down all kinds of movie content. Thanks so much.